Hello, my name is Tanner Lamott, and this is my case study on Target Field. So, just an introduction. I'm going to be talking about sustainable and green building practices at Target Field. So, just a little background. Site information. It's a professional sports stadium. Um, its main use is for the Twins, the Minnesota Twins baseball team, but it's also used for concerts and other events. It's in downtown Minneapolis, pretty busy area, tight area. It finished construction in 2009, but it was formally introduced in 2010. It's on a 8 acre site with 1 million square feet of the building itself, but the site is a 8 acre site. So a little bit about the project. Mortenson was the GC on it. Mortenson Construction, Danny's Construction were the steel erectors, and then Populous and HGA were the architects. And I just kind of put this little sub bullet there when it comes to the sustainability project. The SIG Sustainability Investment Group there is the project team that works with the Twins, but not relating to construction. That's the operating and maintaining side. Stakeholders. This is a stadium in a metropolitan huge city area, so there's a lot. But Hennepin County, the Metro Transit, Mortenson, obviously, all the construction parties involved, the city's residents, the taxpayers, and Target, and the list goes on. But those are just to name a few. Mortenson were the construction manager at risk, and the Target Field's green rating scorecard under the new construction version 2.2, they scored a 36, and they're currently on version 4 in the operating and maintaining field portion at a 79. So the highlights I want to get into are the Hennepin Energy Recovery Center, the Pentair Partnership, waste management, construction materials they used, and just the culture in general around the organization. So the Hennepin Energy Recovery Center, it's a manufacturer building right by Target Field, and steam's captured, and that steam is used to heat the playing field and water in enclosed spaces. And I didn't know this. Being a huge baseball fan, I'm surprised the first time I was hearing about this was doing this project. But it's pretty interesting that the technology that's available to us nowadays. And I think this is important because being able to blend in and mesh with your environment in a building sense, with your other environment, the city, if you want to say it like that, it's important because the Hennepin Energy Recovery Center is already there, so you don't need to build more. Just use resources that are already there instead of taking away from the earth or wherever you're from to get those resources. So trying to save resources in that sense by using what's around you, it's important when it comes to sustainability. So the Pentair Partnership in general, obviously the main focus of this is that big 200,000 gallon cistern that's along the foul pole lines, but and it's good for Pentair too, like they said in the Zoom. It's good on both parties, but especially for the Twins. The water filtration stations throughout Target Field allow fans to fill reusable water bottles instead of buying a new one that's like $8 anyway. So it's kind of win-win for the Twins and the fans. Yeah, and like I said, that cistern conserves and reuses rainwater for irrigation and washing down the stadium seats and whatnot. And just a fact. Yeah, so the partnership reduces Target Field's need for municipal water by more than 50%. That's huge because water is water is big when it comes to lead in the scoring. So any way that Twins can get the water down is huge for them. Wow, and I put that wrong. I probably shouldn't say that it's all about the lead score, but sustainability sense, sorry, it's really good. So waste management, Twins do a great job of uh, going above and beyond, and I'm kind of going to get into that. But spending extra money to get uh, those eco-friendly products, recyclable and organic, so they can save over 10,000 tons of waste to divert them from landfills. And also a great thing they're doing with the 55 tons of food. So instead of, if they don't sell them at the game, instead of tossing them, they put them to use, which is good. So the materials, they're used to construct Target's field. They were able to recycle 70% of them, the construction debris during the building process, which is huge. I think that's pretty good. It's not quite perfect, but that's pretty good. Um, yeah, 60% of their exterior materials were regional, and a huge portion of that is the limestone, as you can see in the picture. That was all from Mankato, and that spans all the way around. So that was huge that they were able to get that limestone from Mankato, because that's saving time, fuel, everything, all those factors that come in just for that 1 hour drive from Mankato up to the cities. So they did a pretty job on using sustainable materials and material procurement practices. So the culture, like I said before, I wanted to get into. I think this is a huge factor. If you just look big picture instead of looking at the little details, since the Twins are a ginormous sports organization, makes millions, billions of dollars, they can afford to go above and beyond to ensure sustainability, make sure it's a key focus within the organization. Doing those partnerships with eco products, it's more expensive to buy the cups and plates and stuff that they use, but it's huge when it comes to sustainability, and not a lot of smaller companies can afford to. But I think that's a big difference between the Twins, is they can afford to, and they make it a focus to. And they're the greenest ballpark in America claimed, and it's true. It's not just a false claim. That's pretty consensus around the industry, and I think that is a big factor on the culture of the Minnesota Twins organization. So about the pros of design, specifically about the design and construction process, um, Populous was the architect, so did a good job of working with them to make sure, like during the construction process, they're using lower, no emitting paints, coatings, adhesives, all that, and that helps with air quality. So they're not using bad stuff for the air. Um, chemicals. That's the word I was looking for. Not too much chemically stuff that whenever you're painting at home, and it's no good. Building in the solar reflective materials that were built on the roof and the plazas, they reduce the amount of heat absorption and energy use, and the brownfield remediation. So before even any of the constructing started, they had to clean the site up from the contamination, because there used to be a industrial facility there. So it was a good on their part. And some more pros. They used high efficiency field lighting on some things. They could have done better, and I'll get into that. But yeah, the interior, or the energy efficient interior lighting, electrical, heating, cooling, and ventilation equipment. That was more when the structure is already kind of set and they're putting those things in. And public transportation access is a big one, though. The Metro Transit and those blue lines and green lines, and I don't know them all too well and which ones they go, but I know it's a big help to not have all your fans trying to drive in and park, because if you have to only on an 8 acre site, there's no way you have space for all that parking. So those public transportation access, that's huge. And again, the materials, the Minnesota limestone during the construction process, using that, very beneficial. So the cons, honestly, is pretty hard to find any, because whenever you do research and read through, they only want to talk about the good stuff. So I just pulled their new construction score, and they did pretty well relative, but obviously not 100%. So where are they going wrong? I looked, the energy and under energy and atmosphere, they were only 3 out of 17, and that was because they used a lot of fluorescent lighting at the beginning. Now they've switched to more LED, but materials and resources, the limestone must have been like 5 of the 6 points. So maybe the other point was the sealants and stuff, but that's just a small factor in. So I don't really know why their score was low, but they probably could have been a little bit more particular on maybe the steel or the concrete or a few other things to bump up their material and resource score. Um, those were the biggest things for me. In water efficiency, they didn't quite have all their toilets and fixtures and whatnot as the low energy ones, or low flush, high energy. I might be saying that wrong, but the high efficient water that uses less water, they probably had a few of those, but not quite 100% through the project. So I said before, like the field practices, they were able to divert about 70% of their construction debris from landfills. So obviously you have a big problem with landfills. So to be able to avoid those and recycle those, it's huge. Yeah, that like I said before, also I'm kind of just reiterating some things, but the $200,000 gallon Pentair rainwater recycling system reuses $2 million gallons annually, and since it's been around 2010 to 2020 now, so that's 20 million gallons that they've saved now, which is tremendous, unbelievable. And for commissioning and turnover, um, Mortenson is well respected in the industry. I'm sure they did a good job, but I wanted to focus more on the Twins for doing a good job of not just building green, but hiring the SIG to keep increasing their lead scores and keep staying sustainable while they're operating and maintaining, to set a good example for the rest of the world and the rest of the construction industry. The innovation, the 3 biggest things that I emphasize this a lot, but the Pentair water recycling system, I think that thing, I can't believe I've been to 20 Twins games, and I can't believe I didn't know that was there. And the Hennepin Energy Recovery Center, I think that's pretty underrated, because not a lot of buildings, especially big buildings, are able to mesh well when they're built with their environment. So having that connection with the steam is huge. And the reflective materials, the solar reflective materials, I'm hoping they keep finding more places to put them, because they're nice, and when they're used, and when you have that much space in a stadium to get that much sun because it's above everything else, it's a great opportunity. So biggest takeaways I want to say is it's the greenest ballpark in America, and that's proven, not just by scores, but by the consensus in the industry. And the Twins culture is they are really the all-stars, being able to afford, not just being able to afford, but being willing to afford to go above and beyond for sustainability. Thank you.